I was at a symposium last weekend, which was about the invasion of the Hopelands area. There was people coming out of the woodwork that lived in the area, and we spoke to some of these people, they have samples, they have lots of diseases. I'd like to know why we can't use them. They've been the guinea pigs of this industry. How can we use them to actually force the issue to get this closed down?
I think there was a film on about that a second ago, actually. I'm from Chinchilla. I wasn't at the symposium, but this is it. You know, we can't make another film. In actual fact, someone can make another film, just not me. But it is part of it. You have to share their stories and continue on the fight for the people that are left. So, you know, it's a tough gig. It's what we've been doing for the past 5 years, is sharing our stories and getting our stories out there. And you know, there's still many left. I think there's a campaign I'm actually preparing to launch next week for the Norder family. Now, they are 11 kids. They're living right next to, we saw them in the film, we saw the issues they're having, and it's gotten worse for them. So in the next, hopefully next week, I'm really asking the mothers and the women to get behind this, because as mothers and women, you understand it more than burly blokes like me that don't cry. But you understand what it's like to see your kids in pain, and Narelle is in that situation. So my Facebook page is The Frackman, and the movie Juggernaut is Frackman the movie. So follow me personally on Twitter and Facebook, and The Frackman, and I will be launching that campaign in the coming week.
White shirt.
First, I'd like to say thank you very much to the 3 people and all the others who do such a hell of a job. One of the things that was mentioned earlier on was the TPP, the trade problems that we're having. The movement that we're part of is a movement that's worldwide now. And I can see and I'd like your comments on this, but I can see the whole world starting to change in its attitude. That we really have to start looking at real democracy and stop kowtowing to corporatism, to big money and all the rest of it. I think it's time we use this movement as a really strong push, because it's supported over the world, but we've got to start fighting for real democracy.
I think March 28 will be one of those moments. So we need to make it one of those moments. The Nats, get rid of them. Not just here, in my electorate. I spoke to Bromhead, which I think most people call him Broomhead. I actually did a sneaky interview with him and I called him Broomhead, and he went, he's like, Bromhead. But I think this area can be one of the most powerful signals in that campaign, and that's not only vote them out, like we just don't want them to lose by this much, we want them to lose by, we want them gone. Like in Queensland, exactly the same thing. And Queensland's a prime example. So I'll pass it on, but I think it's happening. I just think we've got to keep on doing what we're doing and coming up with new ways. And the people that are running this, Market Forces and Get Up, once again, I'm not actually a member of Get Up, but I have looked into Market Forces a bit. And this is another thing that we can do at home without torturing ourselves on another goddamn blockade.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. I think that here in the Northern Rivers, we're really privileged to actually be seen to be at the forefront of that change. Bentley Blockade was a global phenomenon. It was something that really made people around the world sit up, take hope that they can change things and that they can participate and they don't have to just sit down and take it. So I think for us here in the Northern Rivers, exactly what you're saying, we need to keep that energy alive. We keep showing the rest of the world what it means to really stand up for our land and our water, and we do it so magically, and we have that power and we just need to hold the integrity, because in the unmentionable instance that we don't get the outcomes that we want at this coming election, we're going to need to maintain the rage peacefully.
We have time for 2 more questions. Dom.
Hi, Dayne, are you able to tell us roughly what percentage of your community has been driven out by this?
It's It's hard to say because people don't want to. Once people saw what happened to us, that was half of the game. Was torture us, and who wants to be that person? Who wants to not be allowed to go to the bakery and buy a crap meat pie? You know, and that's so people left. You know, we know on Facebook through just what's happening through Facebook, we see there's a few more leaving. But what I do know is we've left, and there's a vacuum, and the vacuum's being filled very quickly by other people because a lot of people became complacent with us doing the work, and now that vacuum has made them realise that they have to step up. So it's there's a second wave coming, but I don't actually know percentage-wise how many left, but if you do look at the amount of properties for sale in the area, I think that's a clear indication of how many want to leave.
Okay, one last question. Guy in the green shirt.
I just wanted to, there was fundraising here last year, and that was to help independent medical tests of the children in Tara. I wondered if any information has come back around that because the government was in total...
Yeah, I wasn't part of that, so I'm not the... that was the community support group that did that, so I can't even comment on it. I just don't know. One of the problems there is the kids, and who wants to put their kid up on a pedestal to say, my kid's sick? Nobody. And that's why when George and Marion did it with their young boy, what happened after that became a huge problem, and for the parents. And they copped it for, parading your child around and all the rest of it. So there are stuff, and I think Geraldine McCarran's got the actual results, and there were results. I know there was stuff found, and the money was not spent on a party. I wish it was, but it wasn't. But Anne. There we go, Anne.
In regard to the health testing that was done, can you hear me?
Yeah. I want to hear.
Thank you. In regard to the fundraising for the health testing for the children of Tara, yes, everyone that was tested, except one for some strange reason, had unacceptable levels of chemicals in their little systems. And I think most of those children have now escaped. I've been to the North Ducks home, beautiful, beautiful blonde children, and they're all suffering far more now than they were when I went to their home. We were even fundraising to supply the children of Tara with water because they could not drink their tank water, and that's all they rely on. So yes, the tests were done, the money, every cent of that money went to paying for those health tests.
Thank you.
And thank you for everyone that put money into that, because that meant, once again, it's hard to feel alone. It's really, everyone wants to feel part of something. And when you're out there and you're battling the juggernaut, you really do feel alone. And even though I wasn't part of it, when I saw that money came in, I just thought, wow, it means a lot. It really means a lot to people. So the people that supplied the water, I remember when the water came out, there's just tons of water. It's like, because we're all buying water, and we're not rich people. And my water bill for myself was about $20 a week. We've got people with 8 kids. So they're spending, $80 a week on water. They're already broke. And so when these water trucks came out, and there was, trucks delivered from town of thousands and thousands of litres of water, and there was drinking water in plastic containers dropped out. That was like, it's hard to explain what that means, and that simple gift of water, it's huge. So thank you.
Okay, now for Ellie.
Okay, so I did mention before that there's something that you can do right now to help us here in the Northern Rivers to get this message out. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. If you are interested in getting these materials that I mentioned that show clearly the current state of the licences, please get your mobile phone out right now and you can text me your email address. If you can't do that now, you also have these beautiful gas-filled free Northern Rivers postcards that were handed out to you on the way in. You can also fill one of those out and give it to Amanda, who's out at the tables at the front of the cinema, and make sure she knows that you want information about the current licences. And the third way is we've got an email list floating around as well. But if you add your name to these postcards, we'll present them to the candidates and make it really clear what we want to do. So if you've got your phones out and you're ready to go. Yes, I've got plenty more. I've got many, many, many more. If you want postcards to get out into your community, come and see me. Okay, ready?